Namaskaram. Mahabharatam, the war, we are getting into the 17th day, and it was the second day under Karna. On the 16th day, the very first day under Karna, the Pandavas had the advantage. So Duryodhana, as usual, went and compelled this time to Karna that we are at the receiving end. You are trying your best, but somehow it is not being effective. So Karna replied saying that, look, I am definitely a better warrior than Arjuna, there is no doubt about it. But what is missing is Arjuna has a good charioteer in Krishna. And Karna doesn't have a good charioteer. So if he gets someone who is as good as Krishna, then he will definitely have a better hand. He will defeat Arjuna and probably will kill him. So, and he suggested Shalya as someone he would prefer. Shalya was definitely a better charioteer than Krishna himself. And Karna did approach Shalya and requested him to be the charioteer. But Shalya refused, saying, no, I won't do that. I will do anything else you ask me to do, because Karna is the commander-in-chief. But he was not ready to take on the reins. The real reason was that Shalya couldn't stand Karna's boasting. He thought himself to be the best in the world. So Karna went and complained to Duryodhana. And then Duryodhana started praising Shalya. See, most of the warriors that time, they were prone to eulogy, to praise. Karna was definitely the best example. Incidentally, when Shalya, who was the direct uncle of Nagula and Sahadeva, and Shalya in fact had come with one Akshauhini of army to assist the Pandavas, but Duryodhana tricked him. He made arrangements to receive Shalya on the way, on many halting places, and Shalya was very pleased. He thought it was all being done by Pandavas, and at the last halting place, Shalya asked just to confirm that who is making all these arrangements. Then they said Duryodhana. And it was at that very moment Duryodhana appeared and requested Shalya for help in the war. Shalya couldn't refuse. And he said fine, but then he was sorry for the Pandavas. So before joining the war, Shalya went to the Pandavas and explained this was what had happened. Then, of course, there was nothing that Pandavas could do, but they simply requested Shalya, but please give us one promise that in the war, Karna is most likely to approach you to be his charioteer. You accept that, and please whenever you get an opportunity, put him down. Instead of praising him, point to his weaknesses. So, because Karna is very sensitive to praises and also to admonitions. If he is ridiculed or if he is shown as someone of inferior caliber, then Karna loses heart and he wouldn't manage to do his best. So that was the one promise Shalya was asked to give. And Shalya said, fine, I shall do that. And fortunately, Karna himself approached Shalya that day, and Shalya, though initially refused, he finally, when Duryodhana asked him, he accepted. Then Duryodhana, just to make sure that Shalya is not unhappy because driving a chariot for someone else may give the impression that the real warrior is in the commanding position and the charioteer is simply at his command, like a servant to him. So just to praise Shalya, Duryodhana told the story of Tripura Dahanam, which is a famous story in the Puranas, though its significance here is simply Duryodhana telling Shalya that even in the past, great people have taken up the reins, become charioteers of great warriors. So for that, Duryodhana retold the story of Tripura Dahanam, which Duryodhana said he heard when sage Markandeya narrated the story to his father Dhritarashtra. Tripura was the Asura who was, what is it called, a big threat to the gods. They tried their best, but they were no match to Tripura. Because Tripura had taken a blessing from, I think it was Brahma, that he could be killed only by the son born to Shiva, Lord Shiva. At that time, Lord Shiva was known to be a confined bachelor, never to yield to a relationship with a woman. So Tripura thought that was safe. And it was then Parvati was employed. Parvati was already in love with Shiva. She was trying her best to attract Shiva, but she was failing. In her earlier birth as Sati, Sati was in love with Shiva, and at that time the gods employed Cupid, Kamadeva, to change Shiva's heart. And Madana, Cupid, came on the scene to help. But at the last moment, Shiva's heart was responding to Kamadeva's efforts. And at the last moment, Shiva realized what was happening. So he walked away from that place and disappeared with his bhutas. to his demon companions. Nobody knew where. So all the efforts, painstakingly done, all the efforts went waste. That was and then later on, as Parvati, she managed to get Shiva's favor after long years of penance. The Kumara Sambhavam, the famous epic poem by Kalidasa, has that story. But anyway, that was the background of Shiva. So Tripura thought it is safe enough to put that condition. The gods consistently refused to give a blessing of immortality, because they said that cannot be given to any mortal being. A very born being should die. That's a universal law. And that is why later on everyone started putting, looking for loopholes. Everyone thought of in the Bhagavata, the story of Hiranyakashipu, Prahlada, and Narasimhamurti. There was similar condition, and so many contexts they had put. The people who wanted to live long looked for a loophole and asked for that as the condition. And Tripura gave only son of Shiva could kill him. And it was how Subramanya, Kartikeya was born. And he killed Tripura. He had 3 sons. One is Tripuraksha, Tarakaksha, then Tarakaksha, Kamalaksha, and Vidyunmali. These were the 3 sons. And they were great demons, and they got that. They put a condition. After long penance, when Brahma appeared to give them the blessing, they said the boon they were asking for was they should be killed only the vehicles in which they travel come together. At that time, whoever is trying to kill should send one arrow. With one arrow, the 3 vehicles must be penetrated, and that arrow should kill all the 3 at the same time. That was the condition put. And these vehicles were 3 planets like airplanes, which would always revolve. Always revolve around the earth. Once in a year, they come together for 1 hour. And during that 1 hour, somebody should send an arrow and hit the 3 of them together. That was the condition. And Brahma had to agree to that, and he approached Lord Shiva to fight against these 3 asuras and kill them. And Shiva said, I am ready to fight, but I don't have a good bow, good arrow, good chariot, and plus a good charioteer to drive the chariot. And then they approached various gods, including Vishnu, Soma, and Varuna, so many of the Agni, to become arrows. And Brahma was approached to be the charioteer. Of course, the chariot itself was made by several important gods, and the charioteer was Brahma. The gods had requested Brahma to be the charioteer, and it was in a chariot driven by Brahma that Shiva waited for the opportunity when the three vehicles came together. He sent one arrow which hit all the three, penetrated all the three vehicles one by one and burned all the three together. And that was Tripura Dahanam, burning of the three worlds or Puram, cities, moving cities. And in each there were these asuras, Tarakaksha, Kamalaksha and Vijinmali. And that was the story of Tripura Dahanam. Duryodhana retold the story to impress upon Shalya that a person so as great as Brahma became the charioteer of Lord Shiva. And of course, Duryodhana also praised Shalya, saying that he was greater than Karna, Arjuna, and every other warrior, and so many praises which pleased Shalya. With this, Shalya accepted the charioteership of Karna. And with this, we stop today. We shall continue to next day. Namaskaram.